The Vietnam Helicopter Pilot Association is a fraternal organization made up of helicopter pilots of all the branches of service who served during the Vietnam War from 1963 up until 1975.
The VHPA is open to anybody that flew helicopters in Vietnam. Australians, Canadians, South Vietnamese, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and we even identified some Russian pilots who had actually flown medevac missions across the DMZ into South Vietnam.
The organization became active as the pilots gathered in the early 80s, and every year now, as we grow older, our participation increases as we come together primarily for fraternity and brotherhood, and also for scholarship building and charities. We are nonpartisan. Our primary mission is to gather together and to honor the service of helicopter pilots who served during the Vietnam War in the theater of combat. And our membership is earned the hard way, and coming together now has been a wonderful thing. 42,000 helicopter pilots approximately served in Vietnam, and of that we have had membership of 15,000. Right now we have about 8,000 active members, which is a pretty astonishing number when you think that every week our numbers are declining because we're aging.
We are a standalone organization. When the last person is gone, that'll be the end of the organization.
When this organization was formed, the guys that formed it said, well, we just want a pilots group. There is a combat crew members organization that a lot of us belong to that, and that's where a lot of those guys are. Sometimes some of those guys show up here, and you know, but the crews that I worked with or had were, we flew together every day. We've watched each other bleed. We've seen each other in our bad times and our good times.
We stood in formation, and they told us to look at the man on your left, look at the man on your right. Of the three of you, one of you was not coming back from Vietnam.
Everyone knew they were going to get at least one Purple Heart if you're in the organization for any length of time. So it was just a matter of when am I going to get wounded, and or how bad is it going to be.
A lot of us had the common experience of being wounded, shot down. I was shot down 9 times. I never had that fear of never being picked up. I knew that if I got wounded, I was going to be saved. You didn't fight for yourself, you fought for the other guy.
I was 19 years old. I was responsible for a $500,000 helicopter and the other 3 lives on board the aircraft. When I got home, there was no one I could relate to, really. And I kind of felt a little lost for a couple of years, and then I went to work on the Gulf Coast, flying for a civilian company that had mostly Vietnam veteran helicopter pilots. And it was like I had come home. No one knew what I had seen or the experiences I had. Regular people just couldn't relate to it, but another helicopter pilot could.
It brings a lot of closure for me and for other guys to talk of the common experience that we had in combat, especially for those of us who flew in Laos like I did and Lamson 719, which was a very wrenching experience.
It's almost more than a family. I've told somebody one time that if one of my brothers from country called me, I would probably drop it before the family to go there, and they don't understand that. How you can know somebody for a year, but you live with them in those kind of situations. And we get together now once a year, but it's almost like yesterday sometimes when these guys will walk in, and yeah, our steps slowed down a little bit. We don't maybe do as much as quickly as we used to, but the mind and the heart is still 19, 20, 23 years old as we were then.
I have so many friends that I've just met through this organization, through the VHPA. And for me, it's just a camaraderie. But all of these guys are my heroes.